All right, everybody, season 3, episode 21 of the Swishlist Podcast. We got a lot of basketball to talk to you about today. We will start with, is Shai the fourth best point guard all time? Shai had an incredible week. We'll talk about it. Luka had a great week. We'll talk about that. Bam's 83. We'll give you our thoughts. The Clippers have a winning record. What's going on? The Hawks have the best winning streak in the league. What's going on? You should be nervous about the Celtics. Who do we feel like is going to perform in the playoffs? We've got a which player comes off the bench, stop me when you hear a better player, a point guard gauntlet, and then we're debating basketball IQ versus ball knowledge and some new offensive moves that we're seeing in the game, whether or not we feel like they should be called a foul or not. So a lot to get into. We'll kick it off right now by talking about Shai. Roman, is Shai already the fourth best point guard all time?
Way too early to call. No, not at all.
Okay.
I know he has a championship. I know he has a finals MVP, but come on. We're talking about some of the greats over a Steve Nash, over a Chris Paul, over an Isaiah Thomas, over a Gary Payton. We need to see a bit more of this man's career. I think he's on the trajectory for it, but to already give this man the fourth spot of the greatest point guards of all time, I think it's a disrespect to any other point guard who has had a full-length 20-year career of being an established point guard through multiple eras of basketball, through multiple superstars. Shai's system has worked for 1 year. We've seen him do a lot of things in a short amount of time, but this man has only been in the league for 7 years. We got to relax.
I don't know. I would put Isaiah Thomas as the third best point guard all time. Magic and Steph are at 1 and 2. But you got to be honest, man. This guy was the number 1 seed multiple times. He MVP, Finals MVP championship. If you're not saying the fourth best career, it's arguably the fourth greatest peak that we've seen so far. Because when you look at the other names of point guards, those guys don't win championships. And if they do, Jason Kidd, they win it when they are late in their career. You have to look at this as the fourth greatest point guard peak right now. Now, if he wins another title, if he goes back to back, he's cemented. He is cemented as the fourth greatest point guard. So there's a lot of pressure coming down on his shoulders right now if you want to be in those conversations. But Roman, his game is not built on pure athleticism. He truly is a contested shot taker and a difficult shot maker. And that translates late into a career. I don't know if there's anybody that's going to put this guy down. I mean, the Timberwolves tried to put him down. They were sending doubles all game to stop him from scoring 20, and he shot that shot and one over Ant right in his face. This guy really is untouchable right now. And if he wins another MVP and gets another title, come on.
It's the new era of point guard. I think, if he gets another ring, you can't disagree with it. But I think, the one ring category is there for a lot of players. And I think 2 rings is what really separates it, just like you said. But he's the modern point guard now. He can give you 30. He's going to give you 30. But we saw it versus the Nuggets. He can also dish out 15 assists and almost get a triple-double. He is the new archetype for a point guard that probably will end up on that Mount Rushmore of top 4. If he gets this second ring, we're going to have, your Steph, you're going to have Magic, and then Shai will be right there with them, and then we'll be debating that 4th spot. But I just need a little bit more time. I need a little bit more of a career because, like you said, greatest peaks, definitely. Finals MVP, same year, it's up there. But need a little bit more of a career or at least another ring.
It's just crazy that we can even have this conversation, man.
About Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I know. From where
people don't talk about it enough.
From where he started to where he's at now.
It's incredible. Wasn't a number 1 draft pick was even when the Paul George trade happened, it was more okay, I know OKC got a lot of picks, but they didn't get a player out of it. They just got SGA, and we knew the potential was there. We had seen what he had done in the playoffs the year before with the Clippers when they had their but doing this, the first finals MVP, and champion since LeBron James, to do that it's unbelievable. So just shout out to Shai for overperforming at this point.
We'll stay on the topic. Look, here's another reason why he's on that Mount Rushmore. He passed Wilt this week for most consecutive games, scoring 20-plus points. We're going to act like that. Is it meaningful enough to put him on that pedestal? This guy in 1 week hits a game winner, a go-ahead shot, and passes an all-time Wilt stat. This dude is a game breaker, man. He is playing NBA 2K in real life. He came into the league, and he's His overall is pretty low, and he just maxes out the VC under Sam Presti, and now he's a 97, he's a 98, and he's just dominating the league.
Yeah, you're not off base at all on this. This is one of the greatest scoring accomplishments you can have. This is a Wilt statistic. Michael Jordan didn't do this. Kobe Bryant didn't do this. Kevin Durant didn't do this. LeBron didn't do this. This continued 20-point streak is a streak that is the equivalent for me of LeBron's consistent 10-point streak. Like for SGA to have this one, very unique one. Because it's like, you're telling me Kevin Durant never went multiple seasons with just scoring 20-plus every single game. Kobe Bryant didn't do that. Not even Carmelo or T-Mac, Iverson. None of these guys did that. But Shai did that as the number 1 seed, like the guy in the MVP conversation, 20 points consistently, even on bad games. Like today when they played the Timberwolves, seemed like he wasn't going to get it and then ends up hitting the clutch shots to close out the game in the fourth quarter. Like, it's just expected at this point. He has sustained a level of greatness through these past 3 seasons that we haven't seen in a long time.
And I think it also is a testament to his health, because a lot of these guys probably could have done it, but you get injured in the first quarter and it's shot, right? Like, you truly have to be playing full games, game in, game out, to be able to hold something like this. And he's had injuries, even just in this season when he had the abdomen injury. So it's just crazy. Like, this guy's having an all-time week. Speaking of another player that's having a great week on the court, Luka Doncic. The Lakers have been balling. The sky was falling in LA. If you're looking a week and a half ago, Lakers were the 6th seed. Everybody was calling for somebody to get moved. Now, all of a sudden, they move up to the 3 spot. Luka's hitting a game winner over the Nuggets. They shut down Anthony Edwards. They shut down Jamal Murray defensively. Jamal fouls out when they go to overtime. And now Luka is up. What's going on in LA?
Don't forget the 50 ball. 50 ball versus the ball is 50 ball versus the bowl as well. And it's just not talked about because it's Luka, and Bam had his 83, so 50 became 30 for the day.
Yeah.
But Luka, it's going under the radar because we've seen this for so long, and we expected this from the Lakers. They were the 3 seed last year, so anything lower than the 3 seed is going to be a drop-off. But they might start to creep away. They've had big games this week, and they've been able to get those wins. So they might separate themselves from that small pack of that 3 seed to 7 seed. If they keep this up, nobody's getting hurt. They're staying healthy. LeBron's playing his role. Austin Reeves is playing his role. The role players are doing their thing. So it's looking good for the Lakers, and Luka's as confident as ever.
You want to talk about an opportunity to create some separation? They play the Rockets back-to-back. They play them tomorrow, and they play them again on Wednesday, and the Rockets are the 4 seed. So if you get some distance between those two teams, and their 5th game over the next 5 games is the Pistons. So you got to watch out for that. But listen to this, man. They've got a stretch where they play the Pacers, the Nets, and the Wizards as a 3-game stretch. Like, the Lakers are going to hold this for at least the next 2 weeks, and we only have about 15 games left.
Yeah, it's when do these teams start to load manage? When do you accept your position in the playoffs?
Fair.
So I think these 2 games versus the Rockets are really going to matter. If they can get these 2, you might see a couple teams, especially Suns or Rockets, start to be like, okay, we might just have to accept a middle position instead of trying to force our way into a 3 seed and see a hamstring injury from one of our starters, because it's a serious thing. We've seen it for the past couple years. Hamstrings and calves are going at the beginning of the playoffs and ruining teams' playoff shots. So you got to play it smart. You can be a lower seed and make it to the Western Conference Finals. Timberwolves showed that. Pacers have showed that. It's doable. Health is the most important thing. The best ability is availability.
We're gonna find out who the Lakers really are when they play the Thunder on April 2nd and April 7th. If the Spurs can stay close to Oklahoma City, it forces the Thunder to play their players to keep the 1 seed. And those 2 games are really going to tell us if the Lakers are pretenders or contenders. If those games are close, and if they're able to win even one of those games, watch out for LA in the postseason.
Yeah, it's coming down to it. We're ready.
We can't go any longer on the pod without talking about Bam's 83. Okay, so I'll just set the stage. I was playing ball Tuesday night. I was hooping. And I get a text from Dad. Hey, Bam has 83. And I literally thought to myself, and I told Dad this, so it's not going to be a surprise if he listens. I was like, oh my gosh, Dad got hit with a deep fake. Dad got hit by
NBA
AI.
Central.
Yeah, NBA Central just got him. There's no way that Bam has 83. And then all of a sudden the rumblings at the run were like, bro, Bam had 83. Shoots 43 free throws, makes 36. But if you watched the game, most of those fouls were fouls. We have to talk about this. Do you keep showing the Kobe highlight now? Kobe fans are punching air right now. They are just so pissed that somebody's broken this record. I saw a reporter that was like, Bam should have subbed himself out of respect for Kobe. Kobe, no shot, would have subbed himself out of a game, but we would have labeled that Mamba mentality. So I don't understand why so many people are upset about the game.
We can't have anything in basketball. Somebody was going to break the record eventually. You just knew it was going to happen with the way teams were scoring. But for it to be Bam, I think is what gets people.
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo scored 83 points, of all people. This guy wasn't even an all-star. This is where we're at in basketball. I cannot believe it. Like, I'm not discrediting him. I think 83 points is 83 points. But Bam Adebayo scored 83. What are we doing? Like, I don't care how bad the Wizards are. How do you let this man get that many points? And I feel like this just sets a precedence for any player. If you can go and get 30 points in the first quarter, all you got to do is what Bam had a 12-point quarter when he scored 83. It wasn't consistent 20s. He came out for the first quarter, went off. This man took the most free throws we've ever seen in a game.
That's true.
Made the most free throws in a game.
That's
and he
true.
just put himself in elite company with the amount of three. He took 22 3-pointers. He made 7 of them, which is good for Bam. But 22 3-pointers from Bam. Like, this was truly shot chucking. But I don't fault him for it. There was a game this year where Cade Cunningham took 45 shots. Bam just happened to get to the free throw line a bunch. And this is the NBA. Teams who are tanking, you're going to have a bad roster where it ends up being Bam versus your third guy off the bench, and it opens up for this opportunity. So I think Bam just opened up the scope of things, because now it's kind of an embarrassment that you have Wilt Chamberlain, Bam Adebayo, and then Kobe Bryant. But Bam went out there and did that. I'm not mad at the fact that he went out and got 83. If I had 80 points in a game, of course I'm going to go and try and beat that record. And Kobe, people saying that Kobe would have gone out for Mamba mentality. What kind of stupid take is that?
No.
If you're that close to a record, you're going to go get the record, especially if you're Bam Adebayo. Like, that's going to be remembered forever.
Kobe Bryant, you think he didn't know when he got to MJ's all-time single game record? This guy was ultra competitive. You don't become an ultra competitor and then all of a sudden at the finish line, sub yourself out.
Yeah.
You tell me any Kobe Bryant that would do that. Kobe fans have just like this warped idea of reality. We watched Kobe. We know who this man was. That was never who he was, ever.
I watched Kobe shot chuck in his final game. I watched Kobe take 50 shots to get to 60 points, and nobody's ever going to look at that and be like, that was stupid. Like, Kobe shouldn't have done that. Nobody's going to look at that and say that.
This is the same Kobe we saw shot chuck when he was down against the Celtics in the finals, and then the same Kobe that we saw choose to not shoot the ball at all in the postseason to prove his value. You think a guy like that just wouldn't beat a record if it was right there in front of his face? Guarantee you, if he had 99 points, somebody's fouling so he can get 101.
Yeah. I think the only thing that I probably disagree with was the missing the free throws on purpose with 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Fair.
I don't know what we're doing there. Just shoot the free throw and then bring the ball down. But even Bam was telling him not to foul. Like, he knew he was going to get 83 without them forcing it. Like, it was going to be Bam forcing it. He was getting triple teamed and he still went and got it. And free throws are part of the basketball game. If you're going to foul a guy, so be it. 83 points is 83 points. I don't care how he got it, but he did it.
I can't wait for next year. They're going to show that 81. They're going to post all the clips again. Listen, so we posted a 2006 recap video on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. And it covers Kobe's 81. One of my favorite comments of the week. Somebody said, who's watching this after Bam scored 83?
Yep. Mentioning Kobe's 81 is what conjured it. It's like that one week a couple of years ago where Cat had 70, Luka had 70, Donovan Mitchell had 70, Joel Embiid had 70, and everybody was just going off for a bunch of points. I was hoping that's what we were going to see this week.
It was about the same time of year. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Like,
close to around Kobe's, anywhere from that late January into March area right before the playoffs. Seems like somebody's bound for a 70-point game.
Okay, talking about another team that is doing incredible stuff. You'll lose sight of this if you only track the records. But the Clippers have a winning record in the NBA right now in March. Kawhi Leonard, this might be his best offensive year of his career. In year
Other than
15?
Raptors, Kawhi, cannot disagree.
Like, he's going crazy this season. They have a winning record. They are vying for a playoff spot. They're the 8th seed right now.
It's one of the biggest accomplishments of the season. Like, it obviously won't be noted because who knows, they might barely make the playoffs this year
And
because
lose.
they're
Yeah,
going to
they
be a
play
play-on team.
They
They're
play
going to
like
be a play-in team,
OKC.
but yeah, exactly. But the switch up is one of the greatest we've ever seen. The start of 3-15 to have a winning record now, especially through all the changes, losing their big man, losing James Harden, and Kawhi is just seems like on his own from what he knew before. Like him and Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr. has been battling his injuries all season. They just got B-Math. He's been coming off the bench playing great. So it's an interesting thing. And that's all it's going to end up being because they fought hard to get to a 7 seed possibly, and they're going to end up playing one of these juggernauts in the West. That's how I see it going down.
Victor Wembanyama has moved up to the 2 spot on the MVP ladder. I'm not going to lie. Vic is that dog right now.
We said it last week, but it seems every single game he just gets more confident. And I see these stat lines of 39 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 of 10 from the 3-point line. Victor Wembanyama is the most efficient step-back shooting 3-pointer in the NBA, and he's 7'4". This is scary. It's really scary. He's second in MVP voting, and he can't even win the award. He can't get the award this year. This is the only reason he's not going to get it. If he had stayed healthy, the Spurs would be a better team. They'd have a better record, and he would probably be the best option for MVP right now because at this point it's just a repeat for Shai. So you can almost guarantee that next year, if Victor can stay healthy, he's going to win MVP. And who knows how many MVPs this guy is going to end up with.
Bro, in his last 5, 32, 39, 29, 27, 38, and he's averaging well over 4 blocks a game. This dude is crazy. It's absolutely insane. He's shooting well over 50% from the field in his last 5. His 3-point shooting is crazy as well, shooting right around 45% from 3 in the last 5. He can do everything. He can do everything better than everyone. I don't know if there's any anime fans listening to the pod. Anybody that watches JJK, he's Satoru Gojo right now, where it's like Jalen Brown is, I'm the best 2-way player. As long as we're not talking about Victor Wembanyama. It's like, I'm the best 2-way player, except for Victor Wembanyama, of course. Like, it's the classic Gojo meme. He's so good.
I truly believe he's going to go down as the greatest threat in NBA history.
Oh, wow. Wow.
When we talk about the greatest skill guys of all time, Jordan's scoring, LeBron's IQ plus ability, athleticism, Shaq's dominance. Victor Wembanyama just truly will be a jack of all trades, but he's so much taller and skilled than everybody at the size that he is. He's already an elite shooter. I wouldn't say elite shooter, but he's a good shooter for his size.
Oh yeah,
he's only going to get better. He's the defensive player of the year. He will have a say in the conversation every single year that he is in the league. And he's just a threat everywhere on the court. He doesn't have a weakness right now. So he's going to be an anomaly when we're talking about GOAT conversations probably 20 years from now. It's going to be like, you're going to bring up Victor Wembanyama, and it's going to be like, no, you can't bring up Victor because he's different. That 7'5" guy who's shooting step-back threes, nobody's doing that. You can't bring up Victor Wembanyama with 6 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 5 MVPs, and 6 titles. Like, you can't bring this guy up. He's a cheat code. He truly is.
The Hawks have won 9 in a row. It's the best winning streak in the league.
The trade worked. CJ McCollum has been beautiful off the bench for him. Corey Kispert has been really good for him. Obviously, Kuminga has been a great pickup for him. Jalen Johnson is putting himself in the conversation for a top 20 player in the league, top 15, top 10 player in the league. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is in the conversation for most improved player. Dude is at almost 20 points per game for this team. And then Jalen Johnson. Like, we expected this team to be good this year. I think they were going to be, from the beginning of the season, I thought they were going to be one of the bigger surprises, end up as 4 seed in the East or something like that. But random injuries, as well as the trades, the Trae Young, everything like that just didn't end up working out. So they had a little rough patch in the middle of the season. But if they can keep this roster together, they've seen success now. So why go away from it? Seems like they might end up maybe that 6th seed if they continue this winning streak. I see them as a better team than the Heat. I see them as a better team than the 76ers. I see them in that Orlando Magic Raptors range right now. And it's a team that you haven't really scouted for because this is a completely different team than what it was at the beginning of the season.
Hold on.
What?
You're taking the Atlanta Hawks over Philadelphia because they don't have Maxey, Embiid, and Paul George, or even with those players, you would still take Atlanta. This is a big clarifier.
Well, I don't think they're going to have them.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be there.
Okay,
and
so
even if they were there, it's a short turnaround for them. I'm a big believer in building that team chemistry, especially as a mid-tier team right now. And I think the Hawks are building that right now. They're on a 9-game winning streak. Have the 76ers done that this season? Have the Heat done that this season? I don't think so.
Those are fair points. You're talking about the reality. You're like, I'm not willing
Yeah.
to talk about those players. I don't think those 3 players are going to be playing together long enough for it to matter. Got it. I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
The thing is that the Hawks are also doing this with Kuminga in and out of the game, right? He's not playing every single game right now. So they are really, like, the versatility is showing. Even in losing some of these players, it's allowing guys to step up and they're showing out. I'll tell you what matchup I can't wait to see moving forward. And it's going to be a healthy Jason Tatum against Jalen Johnson. That matchup, when those two are going to be defending each other, you've got Kuminga on Jaylen Brown and you've got Jalen Johnson defending Jason Tatum. You start talking about the forward play in the East, where you've got Paolo Banchero, you've got Jalen Johnson, you've got Jason Tatum, you've got some legitimate forwards that are out there that when they match up, it's going to be must-see TV. I'm stoked for that.
East has got potential. We've been waiting a few years for this, but it seems, we do have quite a bit of teams who are risers in the East, and it's going to make it interesting.
Athletic forwards have been able to dominate the East. Kawhi, when he was there for 1 year, LeBron James, of course. Athletic forwards, Jason Tatum has gone on incredible runs in the Eastern Conference. Feels like we talk a lot about guard play, but forwards have truly dominated the East for the better part of 2 decades. Now, speaking of the Celtics, you think the Celtics are going to drop in the standings?
Celtics will drop, in my opinion. Heading towards the playoffs, they have the 5th hardest strength of schedule. Jason Tatum's just coming back into the lineup. We've seen a few teeter-totter wins, a couple games where it seems like we're still trying to figure things out. Of course, they were against good teams, but I think we're just going to randomly see some drops, especially because the 3 and 4 seeded Knicks and Cavs have 2 of the easiest strengths of schedules to end the season. So there's about a 2-game difference between these 3 teams, and we've still got 15 games left. And 1 team is at the top of that strength of schedule, and 2 teams are at the bottom of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gets really close, especially by next week.
Okay, so talk to me about where you think the East shakes out at the end of it all, because we are coming up on the end. So you're telling me you think Boston's going to be at the 4 spot, and we're going to see the Knicks and the Cavs both leapfrog, or do you think they just fall 1 spot to the 3?
With the addition of James Harden to the Cavs, it's been great for them. They've been a top-performing team in the league since acquiring him. Evan Mobley's been playing really good. Donovan Mitchell continues to play the way that he's been playing, so they're a riser. And then the Knicks haven't lost anybody. OG's healthy. It seems like Jordan Clarkson is finally picking his feet up off of the bench. Jalen Brunson's playing like Jalen Brunson. Cat's had some great games. It's just a good team. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's doing good. The Celtics just acquired Jason Tatum back. So I think there's going to be a little fork in the road on this journey into the playoffs, especially with that strength of schedule. So as we get to the end, Pistons obviously take that top spot, and then I'm going to put my Knicks at number 2, and then we're going to have the Cavs at 3, Celtics at that 4 spot.
Listen, man, they play the Hawks 2 times in the next 5. We were talking about the Hawks. Got to watch out for that team. There's some trap games coming up for these guys. They've got the Raptors, the Knicks, the Magic, the Hawks twice, and the Thunder. There's some difficult games on the rest of this schedule for the Boston Celtics. They need to watch out. There comes a point also when you start looking at guys like Tatum. If you're their coach, you might just want to hold some of these guys back to make sure that you've got the health going into the postseason, because the matchups are what the matchups are.
And they're young too. Like Baylor Shireman ends up starting a lot of their games, and Gonzalez gets into that starting lineup. Jordan Walsh was the starter for a long time towards the beginning of the season. You need these young guys to get you into the playoffs and, have those energy moments. But at what point does it cost you if half of your rotation is these 1 year, 2 year, 3 year guys?
Now we're talking about a race for the bottom. The Wizards, an 11-game losing streak. The Pacers, a 13-game losing streak. From hero to zero in Indiana. Roman, you are our Pacers fan on the pod. How are you feeling?
Just got to accept it. It's the down year. The worst turnaround I think I've ever seen. I remember having conversations at the beginning of the season being like, no, they'll still be like a mid-tier East team. No doubt in my mind. You think the Hawks are going to be better than this team? You think the Heat are going to be better than this team? No way. Pascal Siakam is still there. Nemhart's going to be going off. We're going to be fine. And it just immediately went downhill. One of the worst starts to the season. Pascal still somehow makes it as an all-star, but there is absolutely nothing to write home about this team. Yeah. We've had random rosters. Probably they got to be up there with top 5, like most starting lineups in the league, just with the rotations that we've been running. I just look at it for the future. I'm just excited to see what pick this brings for the team. As long as it's not 4 through 10. As long as it's not in that possible spot where they lose it. But hey, if you're a true fan, you'll go through some down years to have some success.
My prediction is if AJ DeBonsa doesn't go to the Jazz because the draft is rigged, he plays for the Pacers. I think AJ goes to the Pacers, and it's the perfect landing spot for him. He's got a veteran point guard in Tyrese Halliburton, who at this point has now seen it all. Pascal Siakam is a strong forward. They like that athletic two guard when they had Benedict Mathurin. You get an upscaled version of that who's maybe a little bit more raw coming in AJ, but what better coach to play for than Carlisle? You've got
fast-paced offense.
All of these pieces around him. I would love to see AJ play in Indiana. So listen, that's the silver lining. I believe the Pacers are going to get AJ DeBonsa. That's what I believe is going to happen. And I can't wait to watch the Pacers next season. You got to feel bad for Tyrese watching guys like Tatum and DeJounte Murray come back from their major injuries. And he's still just chilling on ice.
Tyrese, do not feel bad, brother. You take this year off. We see how terrible the Pacers are without you. You take as much time as you need, brother. Because when I think of a starting lineup, if what Moses is talking about happening, I don't want to believe in it until it actually happens.
It's going to happen.
But, bro, a starting lineup of Tyrese, Nembhard, Nesmith. Oh, somebody's got to go out. I forgot about that. Who am I kicking? I don't want to kick Nesmith out.
Can you like kick Nembhard out?
I don't want to. I can't kick Nembhard out either.
It's Nesmith. It's Nesmith.
It has to be Nesmith, but I don't want it to be Nesmith because.
Okay, you want to play AJ at the 2? You're getting AJ DeBonsa or you're getting Darren Peterson. You're getting one of those two players. I believe the Pacers are getting one of those two guys.
And I think they would go after AJ.
I think they play AJ at the 2.
Well, if they play AJ at the 2, then Nembhard's coming off the bench.
Ooh, I don't have a problem with that. I like Nembhard off the bench.
I do.
I think he's a bucket getter in the second. I think he's a bucket getter in the second unit.
If they get that pick, I would probably expect to see either Nesmith or Nembhard get traded, unfortunately. I think that's what would probably happen.
Okay.
And they would just get deeper bench pieces. You know, they already have a beautiful bench, but then you have Pascal at your 4. And who's waiting at the 5? Zubats. One of the best rim protectors, one of the best rebounders, consistent big. So, hey, Pacers may be the worst team in the NBA this year, but they're doing it for a reason, everybody. Don't you worry.
Okay. Tangent. I have to ask, who has the brighter future right now? The Indiana Pacers or the Utah Jazz? Because the Utah Jazz also have Keontae George. I think they're going to flip whatever Indiana gets, they get the other guy. So I think they're going to get Darren or they're going to get AJ. Then they've got Lauri Markkanen. They've got Triple J. They've got Walker Kessler if they choose to bring him back. They've got Ace Bailey at the 6-man. Like, they've got a great future ahead of them as well. Both of these teams are not playing very well right now, but one pick away from a quality roster next year.
I agree, but it's the Utah Jazz who have never seen success.
You could call the Pacers the Utah Jazz of the East, let's be honest.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? Look at the finals appearances. Look at the lack of championships. Neither team's gotten a number 1 pick in their history. The Pacers have never had a number 1 pick play for their franchise. They're the Jazz of the East, brother.
Yeah, but what team was in the finals last year?
Bunch of white fans in the stadium. Okay.
What team was one Achilles tear away from a championship? Was one game away from a championship?
The Jazz have gone to the finals a couple times as well.
Yeah, in the 90s.
I'm just saying.
We're talking about the 2020s, Moses.
We're talking about finals appearances and finals losses.
No, because now you're getting too broad with it. It's getting too black and white. If we take it down to what has actually happened, the Pacers were in the finals last year.
Yeah.
Last year. So if they gain a top pick, this team is going to be a juggernaut in the East for a few years.
The Jazz have been the number 1 seed in the West a couple of times, and the West has been loaded. They've had good teams themselves. Listen, I'm just saying, I think.
And they never made it to the finals.
The Pacers and the Jazz are the same team. The Pacers just have better fans. The Pacers just have better fans. I think that's the biggest difference.
Of course they do. Reggie Miller created a great culture there. Are you kidding
100%,
me? 100%. Who's going to be that for the Jazz? Because it obviously wasn't Karl Malone. Can't be Karl Malone.
It's not Donovan. He took off.
So, yeah, give me the Pacers. Give me the Pacers.
Okay, speaking of the postseason, you've got a list of players that will be in the playoffs. And help me understand what we're doing right now. We're predicting who's a riser and who's going to fall. What are we doing?
Yeah, so I've conjured up a list of a bunch of names heading into the playoffs. I want you to let me know, do you think they're going to underperform or overperform for their team?
Ooh, okay.
So the first thing I've got for you, Jamal Murray.
Underperform. I think that he's been labeled as playoff Jamal Murray. He hits the all-star status this year, but I have Denver losing to either the Spurs or the Thunder. And that's going to be the point where people say that he did not rise to the occasion. So I have him underperforming.
Okay. Second one, Wemby.
Overperforming. He's never made it to the postseason. We don't know what playoff Victor Wembanyama is going to look like, but nobody in the league can stop him. Doesn't mean they're going to win the title, even though I have them winning the title. So even if he loses, taking San Antonio to the postseason matters. We got to give him props for this. I think he's going to show up, at least win a series.
Jalen Williams, coming off of a hamstring injury.
Underperforming. Hasn't quite fit with the roster up to this point. The Thunder have good chemistry, and there's not enough shots to go around. You put this guy back in the lineup, I think it's just going to look clunky. I don't believe it's going to work out very well. The only way that you could wipe off an underperformance from him is if they go and win a title.
Next one, I got LeBron.
Underperforming. LeBron's playoff successes are in the past. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what LeBron does, even if he had a 50-point triple-double. People will say he underperforms because he doesn't win a title. There is no way he can get out from underneath that.
Cade Cunningham.
Overperforms. I think Cade is going to ball out. I think the conversation is going to be we need more offensive talent around him come next season. I don't think it's going to be a conversation about whether or not Cade is good or not good. I think he's going to overperform.
Okay. And the last name, Jason Tatum.
I don't even think there's an answer here. I don't think anybody's going to necessarily hate on this guy unless they're like a Lakers fan or a Jason Tatum hater. Like whatever we get out of him in the postseason is going to be good enough. Now, in 15 years, people might point to this year because they forget the context of the season, but...
so let's flip it to his teammate. With having a whatever version of Jason Tatum, what are we going to see out of Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown's going to underperform. We're going to see them limp into the postseason, like you mentioned, where they fall a couple playoff spots. I think they have a difficult series potentially against the Magic again. And with Tatum's questionable health, because he's just now getting back into games, watch this team lose again in the postseason. I think it's going to be underperformance out of Jaylen Brown.
Okay. I'm not mad at it. I like the way you described every single one of your answers. That was good, Mo.
Thank you.
We've got 6 players. Who comes off the bench in any scenario? Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Shaq, and KD. What do you got coming off the bench?
Kevin Durant comes off the bench in this scenario. There's no way I can bench any of these other guys. No shot.
I completely disagree. If there's one guy
with who?
There's one guy, this is what I don't get. When people show this graphic, there's 2 players who are repetitive. I hate to say it.
Okay.
They're the 2 greatest to ever do it, but we have Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Why do I need both of those guys? It's just repetitive. Let me get another great who can do something else. Kobe is just a repeat of Michael Jordan.
Okay, so to
I
be
am
clear,
cutting Kobe Bryant.
You're benching Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe can come off the
Okay.
bench.
Yeah.
He can lead the second unit. I don't need duplicate players on the team. I feel like that is the most logical take of this section. There's a bunch of people saying Bron comes off the bench. No, you
that's
have Bron
crazy.
at the 1. You have Bron at the 1, MJ at the 2, KD at the 3, TD at the 4, Shaq at the 5. Kobe can run the second unit because he is part B to Michael Jordan. I don't know why you would have these 2 shooting guards on the court. You run in 2 shooting guards? Same guy?
No, I'm just playing Kobe Bryant highlights in my head. I'm playing all the game winners, the incredible playoff moments.
You could do that with every single player here.
Yeah, but not like Kobe. Now, what are we doing here, man? Like, I'm not saying that Kobe is the greatest player to ever live, but I'm certainly not having him come off the bench in this scenario. We're putting KD off the bench. He'll give me my guaranteed 20. I don't have to worry about him in the second unit. But stop it, Roman. What are we talking about?
What? You could say the same thing about Kobe Bryant.
No,
He's going to give you that guaranteed 20 off the bench. But let me have the GOAT. Let me have the GOAT at 1.
No, dude. You got the GOAT and the assassin coming off both wings. It'd be the most insane starting 5.
It wouldn't work. It would be pointless.
No, it'd be great. It'd be fantastic.
No. Kobe's the right answer. To anybody listening, Kobe's the right answer.
Okay, I'll flip it for you. Which player comes off the bench? Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Tracy McGrady, KG, Carmelo Anthony, or Dwight Howard?
Oh, right off the bat, my immediate pick is Tracy McGrady.
Wrong
I've
again.
never seen him. No, I've never seen this guy lead a winning franchise to do anything. All these other players have done close to that, other than maybe Carmelo, but that Denver team was his. That early Knicks team was his. He may have never made it there. And also, I just like Carmelo better at the small forward than Tracy McGrady, so give me him off the bench. Who you got?
I don't love the fit Nash plus Allen Iverson, height and offensive play style. I think McGrady and Melo running the wings with Nash running the floor is a much better fit. And then you bring Allen Iverson in with the second unit, and he's just able to play ISO ball and get his buckets. I think it's a much better fit. I think it makes way more sense. You're looking at, I hate even putting this as a comparison out there, but when you look at the all-time six men and their ability to just play ISO ball when they want it, Allen Iverson would be floors above.
He would be a better Lou Will. So I do like that.
Yeah, but it's borderline disrespectful to say it that way. But that's essentially what I'd be doing with the team.
Yeah, but I like T-Mac better because I'm not bringing Allen Iverson off the bench. Like, this dude won an MVP, went to the finals, and gave that Lakers team their only loss. And his running partner in the starting lineup was Eric Snow, who's an undersized point guard. So I think Steve Nash is going to be great for that lineup. And I don't know. I just feel like I can't kick Melo to the bench in this scenario, especially if it's prime Melo. I really like late Nuggets Melo in the starting lineup. And then, I don't know, T-Mac's just incredible athlete and potential, but he's the outlier in this scenario to me.
Yeah, I'm always going to be biased when it comes to T-Mac, so.
I know, and it hurts because he's just not as good as you want him to be. Sorry. So we've been talking about the Celtics a lot, and now they're going to drop. I have a Stop Me When You Hear a Better Player Jaylen Brown edition.
I already know where this is going.
We're talking current, by the way. We are talking current.
I know where this is going.
The first name that we have, Bam Adebayo. LeBron James. Scotty Barnes. Jalen Brunson. Tyrese Maxey. Kevin Durant. Kawhi Leonard. Cade Cunningham.
Okay, yeah, Cade's been better. Yeah, Cade's better. Hold on, yeah, Cade's been better. I have to make sure I don't look at history because we're talking about right now. And even though Kawhi's been incredible, like that's a difficult one. But yeah, Cade for sure.
Okay. Yeah, the only other players that I had left on that after that, I was going to go Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards. I knew one of those three was going to do it for you, but
yeah,
especially with current, man, that's rough. But I'm not mad at it. I thought you might go Kawhi, but
I appreciate that you didn't bring Anthony Edwards up earlier. You spared me, so thank you. No, Kawhi. That's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one.
But we also saw these guys Kawhi this year, so
we saw those guys go head to head, and Jalen won that game and guarded Kawhi. So I'm gonna give him the nod. I've got a good one for you. Listen, people like the shooting guard gauntlet, current players. I've got a point guard gauntlet, current players. Level 1, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, I think individually I'm going to take Tyrese Maxey. I think the speed matches up. But in terms of star caliber player right now, Tyrese Maxey outweighs him. This dude is a 30-point per game type of scorer. He showed that he can be the number one option. Same with De'Aaron Fox, but it was for a worse franchise. So as of right now, I'm going to take Tyrese Maxey.
Level 2, Tyrese Maxey versus Jalen Brunson.
Man, I'm going to take the playoff performer, the guy who's I've seen hit the big shots in the big moments. It's Jalen Brunson. I would expect him to do the same this year as long as that Knicks team can stay healthy. And I think from other than speed, I think any other part of the game, it goes to Jalen Brunson.
Level 3, Jalen Brunson versus Steph Curry.
Oh, why do you do this? Because I did this to you last week.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't one-on-one. Who is the better player? It's still Steph Curry. I can guarantee on any night that Steph Curry is going to give me 30, and he's the better shooter. He's the harder individual coverage. He means more to his team, and it's showing right now. When he's not there, this team is one of the worst teams in the NBA. With the Knicks, you can still get some consistency from around their lineup. Cat can just take over, but the Warriors have no other option if Steph Curry isn't playing, so I'm going to take Steph Curry.
Level 4, Steph Curry versus Cade Cunningham.
Currently, I'm going to take Cade Cunningham. He is anchoring the second or to third best team in the NBA right now, and he is an all-around threat while also being a defensive threat too. He's a 6'6" point guard, distributes the ball, shoots the ball. He does everything on the offensive end while being a good defender as well. So I'm going to give it to Cade Cunningham currently.
Level 5, Cade Cunningham versus Luka Doncic.
I think Luka is the second best offensive talent in the league, but I think his flaws outweigh that compared to Cade Cunningham. I'm going to mention it again. They are the best team in the East right now, and Cade is the reason for that. Jalen Duren is a big part of that, but then we look over at the West, and Luka and the Lakers are fluctuating between that 3 seed to 6 seed right now. I expected them to be away with the Spurs, with OKC. So with that being said, I'm going to take the dual threat, the better all-around player, Cade Cunningham.
Level impossible, Cade Cunningham versus SGA.
And this is where we switch back over to the harder conference. I'm going to take SGA. I feel like you get more offensive production, more consistent offensive player, and he provides just as much on the defensive end. And he's also anchoring the best team in the West side, which is the superior conference. So with that, I'm going to take SGA as the better point guard.
There's your gauntlet. Okay, Roman, there's 2 offensive moves that I'm seeing a lot in the NBA. I want to know your take on the play, and if somebody did this to you in a pickup game, are you calling the foul? The first is you see a lot of guards when they're even with their defender, they'll use their offhand to grab the arm of the defender, and they'll pull them to get some momentum so that they can, they're pushing past the defender and the defender's going further away from them to get to that next level of the defense.
This is today's NBA special. This is what every good guard, what every good player that drives to the hoop is doing. You have to find a way to combat players from being physical on the defensive end, and the only way to do that is to be physical on the offensive end. You have just as much right to a spot as a defensive player does. If I get there first and I'm not hooking you, I have every right to swipe your arms off of me, as long as I'm not doing it in a intentful way to hurt you or to get you out of my way. I'm just trying to get to my spot before you can get there. So I think this is just a great offensive move to get around a physical defender. I love it. I think it's a unique move that only the elite basketball players possess. And when it happens, especially when somebody does it to me, I'm like, okay, this guy's a good basketball player. Like, he knows how to play physically on the offensive end versus a physical defense. So it's a unique trait to have that I think people skip over a lot when it comes to the game of basketball.
No foul call in the pickup on your end.
No, if I'm being physical with you on defense, you have just as much right to be physical with me on the offensive end. As long as you're not swinging elbows and wrapping me, the cat wrap, the one that Karl Anthony Towns does all the time. As long as you're not extending the arm, if you're just swiping my arms away to get to the position before I can get there, legal move, great technique in order to drive the basketball.
Okay, second one. You've got there's the low arm push off that you're seeing a lot from Anthony Edwards and from SGA. It's one of their signature moves, especially when they're getting to that mid post. It's not a full extension up high, but it's a low arm, almost full extension on the step back. How do you feel about the move?
Another move that I think only the elite of the elite have. If you do it the upper body, I think we see a lot of defensive players like Lou Dort recognize when the contact comes from shoulder to stomach area. It's a lot easier to show that contact to a ref and flop off of that move. Whereas if I'm hitting you at the hip and displacing your hip, you don't really have the opportunity, or you don't even recognize it most of the time. Ant and Shai will just get players off of their spots without even recognizing it. All it takes is a couple feet for them to get to their spots to get their shot off. And they do this with that instead of being up here, being down here, because a ref isn't looking at that as much. That's just using the area, using my space. So as long as they're not extending all the way, and as long as they're keeping it low, another great acquired skill, and it should not be called a foul.
All right. I think we should keep doing this. I think we should pick basketball moves that we see, and we should just talk about them, how we feel about them, if you feel like they're good for the game, bad for the game. I'll tell you one that I always hated. I hated when Chris Paul would stop right in front of a defender, would just stop, and then the player would hit him and he would throw both his arms out and go down. We should break down more stuff like this. I think we should have this be an ongoing thing. So if you have a move you want us to talk about, send us a DM. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all your platforms. Send us a DM. We'd love to talk about it. But another question for you. There's a lot of discourse, and we talk about this, around basketball IQ, ball knowledge. What is ball knowledge? I'll tell you guys this right now. I don't think picking a random player from 1997 is ball knowledge. I don't. I think that we should focus a lot more on basketball IQ than talking about ball knowledge and naming random players. I like when you get to the last 60 seconds of a game and you can predict what's going to happen on the offensive end and the defensive end as both teams are trading possessions. When you know exactly who's going to get the ball on the inbounds, you know the offensive set that team's going to run. You know who's going to get the shot, who the second option is, who the third option is. To me, that's ball knowledge. Knowing what type of moves players are going to use, that's real basketball knowledge to me. And maybe that's just labeled as basketball IQ. Help me understand what you think the difference is right now.
I agree with you. I think there's levels to it. There's elite ball knowledge, there's basketball IQ, and then there's just nerds of the game. So like you said, elite ball knowledge is your bottom of the barrel people who will just pull out names and, watch highlights for games, and that's about it. They have some cool things to say, some interesting takes from what they've watched or heard from other people, but that's about all you get out of them. And then you have basketball IQ, people who watch full games, who study the game, who are able to know when a correct timeout should be called, when the correct out-of-bounds play should be done. Like you said, when a move should be made, should this guy attack the hoop, recognizing the situation. And then you have the true nerds of the game, which is kind of a combination of the two, where they can name the random players, they have the statistics, they know every situation. They're able to call it, a floppy screen, or when baseline out of bounds play should be ran compared to an out of timeout play, that sort of thing. Just recognizing situations and being able to apply it and saying, he probably should have flipped the screen to this side, those types of things. Recognizing situations more and applying them is what separates it. So I think most ball knowledge can just come from having a conversation with somebody or watching an NBA game with somebody, because like you said, throughout the game, you'll recognize things that, somebody who watches a lot would recognize. And then as the late game comes on, you're like, no, why did they run that play? They should have done this. And it's okay. This guy knows what he's talking about. But just being like, man, Jose Alvarado hit 7 threes. Never would have thought that was going to happen. That's not crazy to say. That's not ball knowledge. So there's levels to this for sure.
Listen, pulling out a name like Costa Kufis does not mean you have ball knowledge. Okay. It doesn't. If ChatGPT can give me a random name and I can put it in the comments, I can't label that ball knowledge. I can't. I just can't do it.
What we should be doing now, if somebody gives a random name, I want you to tell me your favorite thing about them. Like, why was this player so significant to you? I want to hear like really specific things, like, oh, Anthony Morrow, when he played for OKC, was really special to me because he was just strictly a 3-and-D type of guy before it really existed. He was out there doing his job. Or even if it is a more well-known player, but like back in the day, Latrell Sprewell was really good for the Warriors, just really athletic when he came into the league. I don't want to hear the name. I want to hear why you know that player. Did you know that player because you looked him up on NBA Reference, or did you go and watch at least some highlight tape of the player?
Yeah, we go mafia boss Nikola Pekovic, where he just would set the most bruiser screens possible for the nobody Minnesota Timberwolves back when they were terrible. Yeah, classic.
I'll never forget that Mohawk. What an awful Timberwolves lineup.
Oh, man, listen, hopefully we've been able to help your basketball IQ and ball knowledge increase just from this episode. This was a really fun one. We're just at the point where everybody knows we're so close. March Madness starts this week. We'll be watching. We will be watching. We're going to Hawaii this week, so the content might look a little different. You might see us active in a little different way on social media, but we're doing a little family vacation. Our mom and our stepdad, they're recreating their wedding. So it should be a ton of fun, except it's going to rain every single day. I think there's like a hurricane hidden right now, but the content might look a little different. We'll keep you posted on if we record an episode or what that episode's going to look like. But I will say this. I had a couple people text me and they said, where was the Extracted episode? I said, I don't know. They went on spring break and they said, what is this? We need our hit. So Extracted is back. But by the time this episode is posted, it'll be tonight. So tonight, the next episode of Extracted is on, and we'll all be watching. Roman, anything we should look out for in particular this episode? Anything that stands out to you?
The rain is about to hit. The last few episodes, it has gotten quite a bit colder. We've been getting down into freezing temperatures.
Somebody play the gumball music.
Please insert it. But now the rain is hitting. You can be cold and dry, but can you be cold and have raindrops falling through your shelter and be soaking wet through the night with hypothermic temperatures and all that kind of stuff going on. I'm just as clueless as you guys are, honestly. All I know is my perspective, so I barely know what we're in for. So I'm just as excited as everybody else. Last week was terrible, not having an episode, so I'm excited to get my extracted hit as well.
And with that, we're going to close out this episode of the Swishlist Podcast. Once again, if you are not following us already, please go find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We've got a new social media platform that's going to be launching here in a couple weeks that we are a part of. We cannot wait to tell you about it. We're uploading our entire catalog. I can't give you any secrets, but I can tell you it's related to sports. So keep listening for more updates on that. We got the chance to get early access to a platform, so we're super stoked for when that launches. But please go give us a follow, send our videos to friends, send our videos to those people that need to learn a little bit more about the game. We'll be posting every single day of the week as we have all season. And Roman, if you want to send us off, feel free.
With that, if you are not following, if you're not liking, if you're not subscribing, it's getting ridiculous. It is really getting ridiculous. We are at the end of the season. Swishlist Podcast, Season 3, Episode 21. We are out.